This is a fantastic program. It encompasses so many different aspects of how students learn. It's just not a sit and get kind of a program. The kids are immersed into the Chinese language. They're standing. It's very interactive. Every time I walk in the classroom, I'm seeing kids stand up. They're doing arts and craft. They're doing initially what I thought was karate. A student corrected me and said, no, it's kung fu we're doing. So I think the interactive aspect of the program is what makes it so wonderful, and the fact that the teachers are speaking Chinese from the time the kids arrive in the classroom to almost the time they're leaving. When they're saying goodbye in Chinese, and I think that's what makes the program so wonderful. It's been positive from day one. The onset of the program, even when we had the idea of the program, I was getting feedback from parents wondering when the program was actually going to start before we even got the grant for the program. They wanted to know when the program was going to start. And after the program started, as I walked down the hall, I'm talking to parents. They're saying, one particular parent told me her daughter just loves it. She just loves it. She's talking about how she goes home and she's kind of telling her different words of how to say different things in Chinese and singing some of the songs that the kids sing. So every parent that I've spoken to have very high opinion about the program. And what I'm thinking is going to happen, because it's run so well and the kids are having so much fun, next year our enrollment will probably increase, because in our community everything is by word of mouth. So if once they find out how wonderful it is, they're going to tell their friends, and their friends are going to tell their friends, and then next year we'll probably have to kind of fight because it's going to expand, because I think they're all really excited about the program. We even have parents calling to find out if their child can come for the last week who haven't even been here for the first 2 weeks. So word of mouth is spreading. The kids are excited. The parents are excited. And I think this program needs to continue here because the kids are enjoying it so much. Different modalities of learning. Singing, dancing, karate, movement, music. I mean, if a student who needs motion, and which is most of our kids are they can't just sit and get, they have to be moving and have to be doing and creating. I think that's what makes the program perfect. Kids are moving from the computer lab to the music room to the kung fu, and they're doing arts and craft, and everything involved. Even the food that they eat is related to the culture, the Chinese culture, and I think that's what makes the program so exciting, and I think that's what makes it work so well.
What's very special about our program, our STARTALK program, is that we don't just do immersion. We don't just teach students subject matter, content matter, like science content, like social studies or history. Those have very specialized sets of words, sometimes words which you wouldn't use in everyday life. We try to teach useful words, words that can be used in everyday life. So I give the example, many immersion programs will teach the process of a butterfly becoming, a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. The word for chrysalis in Chinese is not a word that you use in everyday life. But we teach numbers, we teach colors, we teach left and right. And we add these into our specialty classes, like martial arts. So while the students are learning, I had them do activities like I had them kick orange or blue or green or red. And that way they can practice their colors. And in this manner, it's not just an exercise class. It's something more enriched because it has an aspect of Chinese culture in it. And it's very closely connected to Chinese culture. So they're not just learning about the language. They're not just exercising. They're learning about Chinese culture. Even the salute, the way I begin my class, having the students bow and salute like this. That is something which has deep cultural implications. Or how I often start my class. I will say, 同学们好, and then the students respond, 唐老师好. This is something that's uniquely Chinese, and shows something about the Chinese worldview. So the teacher says, hello fellow students. The teacher views the students as studying along with them, because the teacher is still learning how to teach. The teacher is always continuously learning and trying to improve. And so I take these little pieces of unique Chinese culture and try to add them into my course. And I'm so glad that I have a lot of creative control and freedom to plan my lessons the way that I'd like. That I'm not bound by having to do certain content or having to do certain grade level requirements. The creative control, the freedom afforded me, means that I can make a lot more really fun lessons for the students, and that there are no limits to what we can do.
So I actually had teaching experience, but now with STARTALK experience, I found that the American classroom culture is very different from what I had before in Asia. So this program is really a good chance for me to be more familiar with what American kids like and what we do with American curriculum and American teaching methods. And this is also a good chance for me to practicalize the theories and the research that I have been doing at the University of Maryland. So, and I also had many chances to discuss with my colleagues like Hong Lao Shi and Wei Lao Shi and other volunteers who are also from the University of Maryland. We talked about how to make the class go smoothly, and also how to make the curriculum more coherent and integrated for the students who have never studied Chinese before. And in this program, we also found that teaching is full of rewards, because for us, for teachers, we are very happy to see all students improve, from the scratch. From the beginning, they didn't know anything, and now, almost at the end of the program, they know how to count, from 1 to 10 in Chinese, and they also know, know how to talk about colors and talked about their family. And we all have been enjoying the moments with students and with staff and people in the program. So this is a very good chance.
It taught me a lot about the culture, a lot of things that I didn't know about the Chinese culture. I also I learned how to write in Chinese, like the symbols. I learned how to say colors and the planets and what things mean in Chinese. We could be translators, like we could in the future, or even now, like you have a classmate who's from China or from Beijing or from Shanghai. You can actually have like a conversation with them or get their understanding if they're lost or something and they don't speak any English at all.
Oh, you
kind of help them out.
Help them.
Yeah, you could communicate with the people, like say, who only speak Spanish,
Because I know one girl in my class, she could only speak Spanish, and she came from El Salvador, so nobody could really communicate with her.
Okay.
Except for
So
this people.
did this program raise your interest to go China or?
Yes,
Yeah.
especially Beijing and Shanghai.
I think maybe we're gonna go to Shanghai, hopefully next year.
Or you already talked to your parents?
Yes,
Yes.
my mom said Paris or China. So I'm leaning towards China because now that I know a lot about the culture.
So you can practice your Chinese.
Yeah, and we can talk to people in Chinese who are
In China.
In China.